Hey y'all, it's Miss Crawford, and today we're gonna learn how to make butter. Now, let's jump into the process of making butter. It all starts with a cow. What we do is we milk the cow. All that milk is collected together, and they'll let it sit out for a little while. Not too long though. What happens is that the fat in the milk separates from the rest of the milk. When you go to the grocery store, you're going to find 4 different kinds of milk. You'll find skim milk. That's when they've removed all the fat. You'll find 1% milk. That's when they've removed most of the fat. If you buy 2% milk, they've removed just some of the fat. If you buy whole milk, they have kept all the fat that the milk had to begin with. When they take the fat away, they don't just throw it away. That would be wasteful. What they do is they package it up and sell it as cream. When you go to the store, it'll probably be labeled heavy whipping cream. In order to make butter, we're gonna need 2 different things. The first thing you're gonna need is heavy whipping cream. This is that magical stuff I was telling you about, and we can do so much with it. Today, we're making butter. In order to turn that heavy whipping cream into butter, you're gonna need a jar. Now, I've got a mason jar here because I like to keep things in mason jars. I think it's kind of cute. But if you don't keep mason jars where you live, here's what you do. Next time you have an empty jar, an empty clear jar preferably, whether it's from the empty mayonnaise or the empty jar of salsa, you're gonna clean it out as best as you can. Make sure there's no more smells and flavors left in there. Then you can use that to make your butter. Once we've got our jar and our heavy whipping cream, our first step is gonna be to pour the cream. You wanna fill it about halfway. It may seem like a lot right now, but man, when you taste that butter, you're gonna know it was worth it. For your heavy whipping cream, it's time to cap the jar and shake. Now, you're gonna need to shake for a while. Sometimes it can take 5 to 20 minutes. Let's see how long it takes for you to shake it. Make sure that jar is closed nice and tight. And like I said before, it's time to shake. Now when you're shaking the cream, you should be able to hear it moving around. Let's listen. Once you stop hearing that, we've got some important information for you. When you don't feel it moving and you don't hear it making any sound, I want you to know that that's when you have made whipped cream. I don't hear anything moving in there. I think we just made whipped cream. Let's check it out. Oh, we sure did. Do you see how this isn't falling down? When it's stiff and it doesn't fall down, that's how you know you've got whipped cream. But we're not trying to make whipped cream, we're trying to make butter, so keep shaking. Keep shaking until you feel a solid ball form in the jar. So here's what's happening as we shake. All of those particles in the fat are forming together. You see, that fat layer on top of the milk isn't just fat, but we can't separate it out without shaking. So as we're shaking it, those fat molecules are forming together. And when we've got that ball of butter at the end, that's all the fat. And guess what? That stuff is really actually pretty good for you. It's got a lot of benefits to our health. So as we shake, I want to let you know a little bit about what's going on inside this jar. So we poured the heavy cream inside, and we just started shaking. But why are we shaking it? What's happening inside to make all this go on? You see, as we shake, all of the fat molecules are rumbling around and they're bumping together. And so, as the fat molecules bump into each other, they merge. And the more they merge, they stick together. And when you reached butter, that's because all of the fat molecules have stuck together really tight. All right, now I want you to see. This is starting to separate. Back when it was whipped cream, you couldn't get it off the edges. That's how you know we're getting really close to butter, guys. I think I've done it. I've made butter in a jar. Here's how we know. If you look very carefully, you'll see that there's a lump inside there, and there's separate liquid. When our jar has some liquid and some solid, and it's easy to separate the two apart, the liquid part is called buttermilk. You need to know that when you've reached that solid part, you have just made butter. So now, the rest of it is just prep work to make sure that our butter is ready to use. Here's what you're going to want to use. Use a strainer and pour it into the strainer. Now what you're going to see is that buttermilk gets strained away and our butter is going to be what's left. So once you've separated your butter from your buttermilk, you're going to want to rinse your butter because even though we strained off the buttermilk, there's still a little bit left inside. So what you're going to want to do is add just a little bit of water at a time to your bowl. See how that water is a little cloudy? That's all the buttermilk. So you're going to want to just rinse it off a little bit. You can do it by shaking the bowl to stir, or you can move the butter around inside the water. It's up to you. Our goal is to make sure that our butter and our buttermilk are two very different things. Our liquid is almost clear. I think we need one more round. Pretty clear so far. Let's give it a whirl. It looks like our butter is cleaned and rinsed off. Our liquid remaining is pretty clear. That means our butter is ready. What do you like to put butter on? Maybe I'll go make some toast. Delicious.